Hi, so let's get started. We're going to talk about crosshatching today. Now, crosshatching is a method of adding shading to a drawing using just lines. Now, crosshatching is made out of two sets of hatches, and a hatch mark is like a line. So hatches is a set of parallel lines next to each other. So when you do crosshatching, you cross them. So you have line, 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 line going one way, and those are all parallel to each other. And then you add another row of parallel lines that are all parallel to each other, but they are perpendicular to the original set of lines. So you make actually a little square in between each of those, like a mesh. So now that we have a basic idea of what crosshatching is, intellectually speaking wise, let's go into drawing it. So, sketchbook. Woo! You go ahead and you draw a set of parallel lines. Yeah? Parallel lines. Then you go back through and you go and put another set of parallel lines perpendicular to that first one, okay? So this is basics. So what you can do to change the level of shading that you get is you can put the lines closer together and it gets darker and it's a smoother sort of image. The lines aren't as evident, or you can space them farther apart. Okay, now we have that down. You can also vary the thickness of each line. Boom. There's some cross-hatching. You can also work with a contour. So, say here's a circle. Beautiful circle. I'm sure it's the most beautiful you've ever seen. So, you come in here and you're like, okay, well, if I do this on here, that's not going to look good. So you're going to draw curves along your circle. And then what you're going to do is go back like this. And these crossed hatch marks are actually at an angle. See that? You get little diamonds in there. So let's do a cube now. We already did a sphere. Let's do a cube. Okay, not the most beautiful cube in the world, I know. So, if we want to do cross-hatching on here, we don't really want to do this. Okay, let me show you what we don't want. That makes it look like it's not actually a part of the cube, it's not flowing with the shape of the cube. So instead of that, we're gonna come down here, make ourselves another cube. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna have the horizontal follow the horizontal line there. It's going to go like this. And then we're going to do this here. Now that sort of blends better with the cube and it gives you a nice shading. Now I'm actually going to go back in and fill in the in-between lines a little bit because that way it'll be a little smoother. Now, if we want to put more shading on this, we can put like just hatched marks here. See that? Boom. Different values. Okay, so what we can do, let's draw a little flower. This is just a little quick stylized guy here, okay? Need a stem and a leaf. There's a little bit of a thick line for that leaf there. So, come in here and see the light's coming from over here, okay? Right? Actually, I don't like that angle. We're gonna put it coming from kind of up here, okay? Do that. So where the most shadow is coming from is probably from the petals onto the stem and a little bit onto the leaf, right? So what you can do, you can come in here Give yourself some cross hatches. See? Okay. And then I'm going to come back and give more cross hatches. Now I'm using the diagonal right now because I don't want it to be too intense. And now here, doing tiny little hatch marks because that's the stem. I'm going to outline this. Now this is a very graphic drawing here. This isn't, frankly, the best example, but we'll work with this. I'll do some better I'll do some better time lapses in the future. So you can really see how cross-hatching works in my artwork, because this is a little rushed. So we got our stuff here, so we have these lines coming out along the petals. It'll kind of imply something, and I want this to be super light up here because the sun's hitting this directly. So, but I just still want to imply that there's some cross-hatching along the petals, let you know that, yeah, the petals dip a little bit because they're not just flat. Okay, so I'm going to continue shading along the edges of the petals, outline them a little bit. Then this stuff in here, I want to make it look like, oh, these little bits are popping up. Emphasize this line, make it connect to the center. Okay. And now, where should we go from here? Let's go ahead and add some darker line here and make this into cross-hatching. And then outlining this. Doing some hatching in this direction. It's actually covering up this a lot. Oh, we need to give this leaf some shadow. I'm just going to go in and do some hatch marks like this. Some more hatch marks. Boom. Cross-hatching. There's our shadow from the flower. Now the shadow is going to be the least on the edges and the most in the center. So I'm actually going to add another here. I'm going to darken this up. I think this leaf curves a little bit, so we're going to do this. Now, note I am not using a reference photo for this, so when you make your beautiful cross-hatched piece of artwork, yours will look much nicer because you'll have a reference photo and be actually drawing a real flower. So, I'm going to build out the cross-hatching from this shadow here, darken this shadow, cross-hatching, little squiggles back and forth. So when you do cross-hatching, unless it's like for an assignment or like a personal challenge to like only use cross-hatching, you're not just going to ever use cross-hatching. You're going to vary it up a little bit. So we're going to pretend this is what flowers look like. And I think for the final bit, we need a shadow underneath. So I'm going to do this because the ground is, you know, horizontal. Then I'm going to, that's more squiggles, a little looser. I'm going to do this. My hatch squiggles are going this way. And there's our leaf going out here. And darken this because the stem seems to be completely under this. Okay. Darken that. Okay. Get this a little bit darker. There you go. There's some cross-hatched flower. So yeah, this is super basic stuff. Actually, I'm going to show you something else. So with cross-hatching, you have the same shape, you can make it look different. So, here's a diamond. And here's another diamond. Okay, and I want to come through and I want to make these look different. So, I'm going to make this one have the light coming from here, okay? Let's suppose this is a kind of reflective surface. So I'm going to go ahead and imply that there's like a little division here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cross-hatching. Well, hatching. And I'm going to cross-hatch here. Still following? Perfect. Now look at this. These don't look the same. There's a little visual difference in between them because there's different patterning, okay? So you can get a slightly different effect just by the pattern you choose to use. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do something funky. I'm going to make this a dark line. There. Do a line here and a line here. And I'm just going to do hatching now so you can see. These hatch marks go like this. And these hatch marks go like this. These hatch marks go like this. Okay, that's fun, cool, yeah. I'm going to do this. What does that do to it? These are following the contour of it. Like this is the end here of this diamond and they're pointing towards it. So this is the light source, right? That's my little indicator for light source. I'm actually going to come back in here. Excuse me. Whew. I'm actually going to come back in here and I'm going to put more hatch marks in here. Look at that. That darkened it up even more. I'm going to come in, I'm going to do them down vertically. So you can build and build cross hatch marks on top of each other. So that's that one. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to come here and I'm going to do this guy. Just even hatch marks. Boom, boom, boom. Tons of fun. But look here. If I just did it like I did before up on that square, it's entirely different between these two. This looks like it's a cutout or a piece of fabric or something, and like there's mesh or something. And this looks like this is actually a cohesive shape. So let's see. Let me do a diamond like this. I'm just enjoying playing with diamonds, so my apologies if you're not into this right now. I'm going to say this has a curved line here, okay? The light source is coming from over here, okay? So what I'm going to do is all of my shading is going to be focused towards this and this, right? Actually these points, you know, just right there, either end. So this is kind of like shading a triangle, where you have darkest on this side, lightest on this side, but the transition in here and the transition in here work. This transition's faster, this transition's slower, okay? If there are light sources over here. This is the darkest. Okay. I'm trying to aim all my marks here. You notice this one, it went up a little here instead of curving over that way. Not the end of the world. If I was doing this more elaborate piece, I'd go a little slower, but, you know, for now it's okay. And then on this one, I'm actually going to go out like this, because this is going to be the darkest spot. Okay? I'm actually going to whip these down. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? I got to darken this up, okay? Darken you up a little bit too. Okay, now we're going to get into the cross hatching. So this line's going to come here. This is all in shadow. And this is curving with the shape of this upside down cone example. See that? It curves. Same thing here. I'm going to darken it even more. Okay, on this top, you see how much, you know, more effective of shading this is? Right here. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do some cross hatching. The lines down here are going to still be curved, but they're going to be a lot longer than the ones up here. Look at that. Look at that. You now have a little like double cone shape there. Look at that. Look at that. So that's where I'm going to stop for now. We have our mesh cross hatching, basic cross hatching. We have more going with the contour. Don't do that. Do some of that. This is curving with a sphere. This is on an actual flower. This is working with diamond shapes, more diamonds, don't do this, do more of this. And then with this is a rounded object, double cone. So cross-hatching, like I said, is a traditional method of adding shading, and it developed like 1500s. This is when we definitely have examples of it going on. If there's any earlier method, let me know. But you can see examples of this in the woodcut titled St. Christopher by some dude we don't know who he is, because he didn't write his name. But it's a print that you get back in the day. I think it was $14.92. I'll check. Just kidding. It was $14.23. So, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is St. Christopher. In one part of the drawing, there's a fish, and there's cross-hatching on the top of it. And that's an example of early cross-hatching. That kind of implies scales as well as shading. In this Martin Schongauer piece, you have beautiful cross-hatching and hatching examples. Perfect perpendicular cross-hatching, but you also get beautiful contouring, like along the fabric and the garments and along the edges of the bed. And there's a beautiful example along the top of the bed covering thing, like canopy, that's the word. So a fun part of this piece is he actually utilizes hatch marks to transition from the cross-hatching in his piece to areas of open space. And that gives a beautiful transition. So the hash marks and cross-hatching marks aren't as in your face. So these examples that I just mentioned, like the Martin Schongauer piece and the St. Christopher piece, are from this book, The Print in the Western World. It's a wonderful resource on the development of printmaking in the West. And it goes through, you know, basically 1400s to present. So if you're interested in printmaking, I highly recommend this book. If not, maybe you don't want to read this tome, but if you are interested, the link will be in the description. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye! So, I'm looking at my notes. I don't remember if I hit record. I did.